All systems go. Cleared for takeoff.
What's going on, everybody? We're back talking some baseball. Nades joining me as usual. Tuesday, 11-game slate. Yesterday was a tough slate. The more we kept talking through it, I was like, man, I don't feel too good about it. Bats especially. Sandoval came through. Your sneaky stack. The Mets came through. The Brew Crew, man, you needed some of those Brewers. Not enough over here. And Strider. If you had Strider, it wasn't a very good day for you. Big Freddie, you needed a couple good SP2 pitching performances. Today, pretty similar set of two very chalk guys. We have one in Max Scherzer and the rest, some good arms on the slate. So that means 11 games, bats, nothing really standing out too much for me. So I'm excited to talk through this slate with you. Before I say hi to everybody else in chat, got to shout out Drafters, our partner over there, drafters.com. If you don't have an account, don't know what you're doing. $20, $300K to first best ball contest, $3, $30K to first best ball contest. I think that $20 one will overlay. Tomorrow, Big Marley and I will be going live, doing a live draft with the special guest on the channel as well. So make sure to check that out. 2 p.m. Eastern. They'll match 100% up to $100. So $20 all the way to $100. You put 100 in, use that promo code SHIPIT. They will match 100%, give you $100. Nate, how you doing on this Tuesday? How's your day going? How's your thoughts on this slate? What's going on in your world?
Yeah, no, it was a pretty solid night overall last night. Brewers, man, they likely used up all their runs last night, but our SP1 on the slate, Mr. Freddie Peralta, like we both agreed on, absolutely dropped his ball bag over the entire slate. I mean, you needed him, and that's one of the occurrences, right, where if I like a chalk guy, like Peralta in the spot where I just thought it was kind of a slam dunk play, that's where I'm fine eating the chalk. And even, I mean, sometimes chalk gets there. And if you didn't have Peralta last night, there was zero chance you were winning money when he goes out there and posts that score at 50-60% ownership. So that's why we talked through it here on the slate. Peralta got the job done. The Brewers got the job done. My Mets got the job done title. Mets came through for us, but it was a pretty solid night overall. Obviously, Strider let us down. I didn't play any Strider just for the price point. I think we talked through that pretty good overall. Braves bats didn't come through. That was a little hurtful, but we move on. Nice little 11 gamer tonight. We got two more chalk arms. One chalk arm for sure up at the top, and then it's kind of spread out from there. I mean, I'm seeing a 40 to 50% owned guy, and then the rest are all in the 15 to 25 range, I would say. So it's going to be spread out. Pretty interesting there. Little interesting spot. Obviously, we've got the Braves again on the slate. Got some other offenses with the bigger slate. So it should be interesting. Looking forward to it, and ready to dive in.
Absolutely. And before we even talk about that, actually, I'll touch on that a little bit. Got to say hi to some people in chat first. Who do we got in chat today? We got Tolga's in here. He's wanted to shout out you, Nades, for that Mets call. Sean V, he's dropping a little knowledge. I'll get back to that when we get into pitching. Sean V, great knowledge right there. Jax, our man Hamwich, Butthole Jenkins, Mike Carr, AQ Asaw, what's going on, man? Dakota Simpkins, K-Pad in here, Gator Nason, CH, Jake, as I already said, maybe, Bill B, Swaggy Pete's in here, Scoops in here, some familiar faces, some names I don't see too much. Nympho in here, Paraby in here, Reeza's Collectible, what's going on, Reeza's King of Smack, our man Landa in here, Go Collect, a lot of people in chat today. Appreciate all of you guys hanging out with us. You guys make the show in chat go by faster, be a lot of fun. Engagement is always fun. Jonathan Clark's here as well. All we ask from you in return is the like button. When you do hit that like button, if you haven't hit the big red subscribe button yet, make sure to do that as well. And the big announcement we were talking about, let me pull up Andrew Martinez's tweet first, or his thing. Let me get on. Want to make sure I do not mess this up over here. If you didn't see on our Twitter page at ShipItNation.com, we did merge with Line Star. Let me pull that up for Andrew Martinez. Congrats on the merger. We appreciate that. Huge announcement over here. So Line Star does a great job. What we're missing, we have projections, we have stack rankings, pitcher rankings, all of that. We have ownership for MMA and PGA, but we didn't have it for the main sports. Line Star does do great ownership. So now we have ownership for MLB. We'll have it for NFL, and I believe NBA too. That's in the distant future. We'll still be talking about that. I'm not 100% certain on that, but NFL, MLB for sure. You can see that on the site right now. You can see that in Solver. Ownership now. Awesome stuff. Huge over here. Huge addition. Costs you guys absolutely nothing in addition to what you pay now. If you're already a member or you join for $59 a month, we just keep adding things, and we won't charge any more for it. So thank you for that, Andrew Martinez. Thanks for reminding me, because that was very big. Line Star, shout out to them. Ownership for MLB, ownership for NFL coming up. Already have projections for all the sports. Stack rankings, hitter rankings, pitcher rankings, core report, slate plan. You play cash, we got cash. Everything you need. Ownership, very important in DFS. You do need it. The one thing we were missing, now we have it for all the sports over here. So love to see that. Thank you for getting me pumped right there. All right, Nate, it's time to dive into the slate. First, we'll talk about pitching. It's Max Scherzer up top. We hinted at it. The clearing away the chalk. He's 10.8K. The nut matchup against Oakland. Highest K prop on the slate. Only one. He's at 7.5. A little juice on the over. Framber 200 more. 6.5 juice on the under. Scherzer's might be 50%. He could be 60%. I wouldn't even be shocked. I have him projected for 7 more than the next closest guy, which is Framber. But in this range, we're going to go 8K and above. There's some good real life pitchers in here. I think you can play Kikuchi at 8.2K, 5.5 juice on the over K prop. Logan Gilbert, 5.5 even money. I'm not playing Mitch Keller against Atlanta. Julio Urias, I don't love him as much as some of these guys in this top range. Tanner Bibby, I think you could do worse. Again, 5.5, some juice on the over. But Lucas Giolito, the one, and I'll shout out Sean V. He's in the top. He said, I'm ready to lock in Giolito. First home game or first time in his hometown. He goes, Giolito is 8 years old and went to the World Series in this park, and it was against the Giants. I didn't know any of that stuff, but his hometown, not only that, his ownership, he's right below Max Scherzer. It's a $900 difference, but he's the closest price to him. There's a lot of SP2s down there. I think people are going to go Scherzer and then go either Kikuchi or all the way down, since you do want to spend up some bats. So this whole range, I think, outside of Scherzer and some Framber, is going to be low owned. Giolito, 5.5 K prop, minus 160. One of the few with the pitchers up. There's a couple of them, but pitchers umpire behind the dish. It's only him and Mitch Keller in the top range. We know the upside. There's a lot of upside, strikeout upside to be had with him. There's also a lot of downside when he's not on. That's why we play GPPs, though. If you are doing it, gets a San Fran team. I think it's a good spot for him, talking game theory and ownership-wise. So sign me up. Sean V, you pushed me over the edge as well on Giolito. I like Framber, too. Man, it's just like Scherzer grades out so much better. Game theory-wise, I don't think it's crazy by any means, though, coming off a great 9-inning shutout performance. Yeah, I mean, what a performance that was. Only 93 pitches he needed to get through all 9 there. So I'll throw it to you, though. Nades, what are you doing with Scherzer is the big thing. Want you to touch a little on Giolito and anything else you like 8K and above.
Yeah, I like 4 guys up here, and it's going to be Kikuchi, it's going to be BB, it's going to be Scherzer and Valdez. I'm out on the rest of them. Giolito, I just can't pay that price tag for Giolito. The narrative, street, all that is fine. But at basically 10K, I just like BB better, and I like Kikuchi better, and I'll take the salary savings there. Yeah, this San Francisco, it's a pretty decent strikeout matchup. He checks out okay. But I mean, 16th best strikeout matchup on the board for Giolito, and he's the 3rd highest priced pitcher with his downside that he has shown he can go out there and get absolutely tatered and shelled. So I'll stay off of Giolito. I'll leave that for you guys in the chat, Sean and Title. Sounds like you're on him. Could he pitch a great game? Yeah, absolutely he could. I mean, it's still the Yankees. There's still strikeouts, or not the Yankees, excuse me. It's still the Giants. There's strikeouts in there, but they play the splits game and all of that with the standard Giants stuff that they pull. So at the price tag, I'm out on him. I like Tanner Bibby much more for $400 cheaper right there. Gets this Toronto team. I like both pitchers in that game, Bibby and Kikuchi. I prefer Kikuchi. I get it. It's a tough Cleveland lineup, but the lineup that Cleveland rolled out yesterday was horrendous. I haven't seen. Let me take a look at this Guardians lineup now that's confirmed. Yeah, I mean, it's not the greatest. I mean, Arias strikes out 47%. Laureano's in there. He strikes out 37%. The rest of the guys don't strike out a ton, but I do think Kikuchi at 8,200 can go out there and limit the damage. So I like both pitchers in that game. And then Max Scherzer, obviously, I mean, the chalk of the slate, he could be pushing 60%. I mean, making his debut here for the Rangers, I believe. I think this is the first start for Texas, right?
I believe it's a second start.
Second start? Okay. Yeah. Either way, gets the Oakland matchup. Oakland's implied to score only 2.5 runs. I mean, 25% K rate for this lineup. Scherzer stuff, 27% K rate on the season, limits hard contact, good expected ERA numbers. Everything checks out for him. And he is only 10-8. I mean, if Spencer Strider was in the spot, we'd see 12-8 like we saw yesterday, right? Almost 13K. So you can say you're getting a little bit of a discount on, quote unquote, the ace of the slate, right? If you will. Framber at 11K is a little steep for me, especially against Baltimore, but I do think he is in play. It's just, I don't know if I get there to attack Baltimore at that price point. So really, I have interest in 3 guys up here: Scherzer, Beebe, and Kikuchi. Keller is an easy cross-off spot. I actually like the Atlanta bats against Keller. Keller's swinging strike rate has dropped under 10%. I think it's sitting at like 9% swinging strike rate. That doesn't bode very well against the best offense in baseball. Urias just doesn't have enough upside, I don't think, especially against Arizona. Better real-life pitcher. And then Logan Gilbert, the same thing. I just don't think he has the upside against San Diego. So Urias, Logan Gilbert, better real-life pitchers out on those guys, and then Mitch Keller not attacking Atlanta with. So really 3 guys up at the top. I do like some of these guys cheaper. But, yeah, that's where I'm going at the top end.
Yeah, there's a lot of options cheaper. Like I said, I think the general roster construction will be people are going to play Scherzer. If they want to make a pivot, it'll be Framber for 200 more. Then they're going to drop all the way from either Kikuchi at 8.2, find someone in the 7K range. Because there's a lot of bats. Like the Braves are on the slate again. The Red Sox are on the slate. There's some big bats you do want to pay for. And this Giolito, Bibby, Kikuchi range, Gilbert, Keller, like all of these guys, there's a lot of guys that project very similar to them for 2K cheaper, 1.5K cheaper, that have better matchups. Like this is like, I like Bibby. I agree with you. He'd make the cut in this top range, but 9.5K against Toronto, like I can go down and find Cutter Crawford for 2K savings that I like just as much, or JP Sears, 7.3K. Like you're saving 2K there. It allows you to play better bats or better stacks. You'll be different up here. I like so Scherzer's definitely one. I like the Giolito pivot though. I already had some interest. Again, I like the pitchers up behind the dish. I like his upside. He definitely has some downside, but Sean V even pushed me over a little more. So I like him more than Framber up top, of course, including the $1,100 savings. I don't mind Bibby. He'd be one of my favorites up here if I had to do it. No Urias, no Keller, no Gilbert. I saw Hamwich saying, don't do Kikuchi. And man, he's also boomer boss. Like he'd be in the pool for sure. I think I like a couple other guys down below. I don't know. He'd be there. I don't have a strong lean though. Cleveland doesn't strike out much, but this lineup also stinks. Like there's no power in it. They're not dangerous. They just put the ball in play. Kikuchi does have a big arm. So yeah, the more I talk about it, the more I do like Kikuchi. Laureano in the 5-hole. Yeah, this lineup, the bottom of the order. Rochillo in the 6-hole. You get through 1 through 3. There's plenty of Ks to be had in that lineup. So yeah, the more I talk about it, the more I like Kikuchi. I'd rank it Scherzer 1, Giolito 2. I guess at the price tag, it'd be Kikuchi, then Bibby, because that $1,300 does go a long way. But let's go down. Let's talk 8K and below. I'm going to throw out some names, and I'll let you talk about them. But Cutter Crawford, JP Sears, Wade Miley. Never thought I'd say that name. That's how bad Colorado is. Clark Schmidt, Grayson Rodriguez, and I'll say one other name, the full punt, kind of like it was Lambert for Hamwich. It was Ken Waldachuk for me, and it was Reagan's for you yesterday. Tuki Toussaint, 5.7K. So Toussaint, Grayson Rodriguez, Wade Miley, Clark Schmidt, JP Sears, Cutter Crawford. That's who I have the most interest in down here, but I want you to touch on those guys a little bit and anything else you like in that range.
Yeah, I do think you can get away with some of these guys down here. My interest starts with Cutter Crawford. Just a great matchup here for him. He's got good strikeout upside in this matchup against Kansas City. It is good hitting conditions in Fenway. But I still think he does have swing and miss potential in this lineup. 7,600, pretty decent price point. I'm seeing right around 15% ownership, give or take, on that for Cutter. So I think that's a fine play there. Brady Singer, I'm not going to go to Brady Singer against Boston in Fenway. If I was going to play Brady Singer, I'm not a Brady Singer guy. I know he's had some good starts as of late, but most of those come at home, if I'm not mistaken here. I'm not going to attack Boston in Fenway, so out on him. JP Sears is interesting. I've been a JP Sears guy all season long. There is strikeouts in this Texas lineup. I haven't seen the confirmed lineup, but I mean, if Sam Huff is in there, he strikes out a ton. Tavares strikes out right around 24, 25%. Zeke Duran strikes in over 30% against lefties. Robbie Grossman, if he's in there, is 25% against lefties. So there is strikeouts in this lineup for Texas. It's scary. It's very scary. 11-game slate. I don't love it, but he's going to be sub 10% owned. He could post a good score. I do think he's a decent pitcher overall. Is at home, so I don't hate JP Sears. Don't love it though. Clark Schmidt, I think, is fine. Just continuing to pick on this White Sox team. I just don't think this White Sox team's any good personally. So I do think Clark Schmidt's a fine option at 7,100. Wade Miley, I think, is in play too for me. This Rockies team is just absolutely horrendous. Confirmed lineup strikes out 35% against left-handed pitching. I get it. Wade Miley's not a huge strikeout guy. He's more of a game manager, journeyman, going to go out there and kind of game manage. But at 7K flat against the worst offense in baseball, worst offense on the slate for sure in terms of pure strikeout numbers, pure ISO numbers. I mean, sign me up for some Wade Miley. Should have some run support. I think the Brewers can get to Freeland a little bit. Freeland is not at Coors Field, so it's not free money Freeland tonight. So I do like some of the Brewers bats for sure. They're hitting the ball well right now. So Wade Miley with the win, with the run support behind him, 7K flat. That's a fine price point for him. So I don't mind him. Checks out pretty good in our stuff over here. Grayson Rodriguez is a big strikeout arm. Gets these Houston Astros. Yeah, Jordan is back in that lineup. Altuve's back in that lineup, but there is still strikeouts. I do think there is still strikeouts. I mean, the back half of this lineup, Abreu, Pena, Myers, and Maldonado all strike out right around 30% or higher. So Grayson Rodriguez with I think he's got the second highest K rate on the entire slate at right around 26% on the season. I think that's a nice price. That's some nice upside there at 6,900. Even if he just limits, if he gets past Alvarez and Tucker, which is a hard thing to do, I get it. But if he gets to that back half of the lineup, Abreu, Pena, Myers, Maldonado, there's a lot of strikeouts there. I mean, 26, 32, 27, 32% for all four of those guys each on the season against righties. I think Grayson Rodriguez makes a fine play. Out on the rest of these guys, I don't really like Taillon too much against the Mets. Not playing Chirinos, not going to play Cookie Carrasco, not going to play Pfaadt against the Dodgers, not playing Freeland outside of Coors Field. Touki Toussaint, I do think is interesting play. The pure punt play option is Toussaint today. I'm seeing him right around 20% ownership, and I think that's because people want to play these Braves bats again, right, against Mitch Keller, play some of the Dodgers, play the Red Sox, play these expensive stacks. So the lineup's going to go Max Scherzer, and it's going to go Touki Toussaint, and then it's going to go these high-end priced offenses, the Braves, the Rangers, the Red Sox, the Dodgers. I would caution you with falling into that same lineup construction, but Touki Toussaint, 22% K rate on the season. This Yankees lineup strikes out at 27% clip. That's projected against right-handed pitching. I don't think he's the worst play. He does have strikeout upside at 5,700, and that's really all you're looking for. So even if he does give up a couple runs, get some strikeouts, 5-6 strikeouts, I think is definitely viable for him. So I don't hate him. So ranking this lower tier range, I guess I'll rank it. It's Cutter Crawford for me, number one. I'll go Wade Miley, number two. Just continue to pick on bad offenses, strikeout-prone offenses. I like him. Grayson Rodriguez, I think, would be 3 for me, and then Touki Toussaint 4th for me down here in the bottom range.
Yeah, good breakdown. I'll touch on the Touki thing because you're talking about. If you think he's 20%, I think he's the worst play on the board, and I would absolutely have none. I don't think he'll quite be there. I think 10% maybe, something like that. Because there's enough, like you mentioned, like people are going to mix in Grayson Rodriguez. They're going to mix in Wade Miley, Clark Schmidt, JP Sears, Cutter Crawford. Like there is guys down there. No one's, from Grayson Rodriguez to Touki, no one's going to play the Taillons, Chirinos, Carrascos, Freelands of the world. I saw Lambda, you liked Freeland. You'll get a 1% for sure. It's not for me today. Tukey would be the guy down below, but that's because I think right around 10%. And I'm good with that. I mean, you look at his K prop, 5.5, pretty much even money, almost the same as Grayson Rodriguez for over 1K more, almost the same as JP Sears for like 2K more, better than Cutter Crawford's, like very similar to Logan Gilbert at 8.7K. Like Tukey has a big arm. He can get wild though. Again, we're talking floor ceiling. Like his floor is as low as anyone. Ceiling is not as high as anyone because of the pitch count, but he can go out there, strike out 5, 6, 7, and at 5.7K. I like the play. But again, I like him if he's somewhere around 10%. If he's around 20%, I think that'd be the worst play on the slate. Rounding out this range, though, I saw something in chat I wanted to touch on. Oh, yeah, Wade Miley. Paraby said Wade only threw 60 pitches last game. That was because that was his first start back in about a month, though. So I'm expecting him to be up. Like if he's pitching well, I think he'll get like 80, maybe even 85, something like that, 75 maybe, somewhere in that range. So that's 60 again. I think that was just because first start back in about a month. 85 is not great, but at his price tag, it's the Rockies. I mean, he should get run support. He's a big favorite. Rockies the second lowest team total on the slate, and Wade Miley's 7K. So it gets you a lot there. I'd say he is my favorite in the lower range, and man, it is so gross. But 4.5K prop, like minus 150. This Rockies team's so bad. I think he gets run support. I'll say him number one. I think JP Sears probably gets a good amount of ownership down below. This Texas team, definitely they lost Josh Jung, Corey Seager in the lineup. If he's going to be 20%, I'd have much more interest going Cutter Crawford. I think both of them are probably two of the chalkiers in this slate, but I'll say Cutter Crawford above JP Sears. I like Wade Miley. I'll say Grayson Rodriguez too, though. He just has such a big arm. Like this Astros team, with Altuve, Yordan back, the top half is tough. Bottom half, pretty easy, though. And with his arm and his upside, like he can get you 7, 8, 9Ks, which very few can in this range. So I'll say Miley 1, Rodriguez 2. Man, I don't know if I want to say Toussaint, but I'll just say Tukey because I know I like some high-price offense, especially the Braves. So I'll say Tukey down there at 5.7K. Let's round out pitching, though. Let's talk all price tags, Nades. Top 4 today on this slate. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to go Wade Miley. He's going to be in that top 4 for sure. I'll go Max Scherzer just with I just think his upside is too good. I hate playing chalk pitcher, but I think it's kind of a Freddie Peralta situation from yesterday. So I like Max Scherzer. I will go Cutter Crawford in that mix as well. And then I'll go Kikuchi as my 4th guy. So that'll give you a couple at the top and a couple in the middle and lower tier.
I like it. What's going on, Trevor Bryan? Hope all is well. Riza said, how chalky is Miley? I think a lot of these guys, Grayson Rodriguez, Wade Miley, Cutter Crawford, Kikuchi, and JP Sears all eat into each other right in that range. If I knew Wade Miley, if he was going to be 20%, Grayson Rodriguez would be 10 or vice versa, or you can name any of those two guys that I said. I would go with the lower owned guy for sure, but I think ownership's going to be pretty similar in this range. But check out LineStar over here at chipination.com. Again, first day, ownership will be up for that. So check out what LineStar has to say. We'll be in Discord too if we see any steam coming. But yeah, great. I'm very excited for these ownership projections. NFL right around the corner. We'll have it for that as well. How I'll rank pitching, I mean, I won't even say Scherzer. That's a given. But it is Scherzer 1. It is. I'm going to go Wade Miley 2. I know I like expensive bats, so I'll go Miley 2. Man, I can't believe I'm saying that. Grayson Rodriguez 3. Kikuchi 4. And because I didn't say Scherzer, I'll give one more. And I'll go Giolito, the little hometown cooking Sean V talked about, getting completely priced out because of Scherzer and in this price range. One of the higher K props on the slate. Pitchers up behind the dish. There is upside there. Sandoval got it done yesterday against the Giants. Not a lineup I'm worried to pick on. So that's pitching. It's a good pitching slate for sure. Like we didn't have interest in Urias and Mitch Keller. Jameson Taillon's a fine real life pitcher. Like there's good real life pitchers on this slate where bats I think are pretty tough to come by. But we'll go game by game. 11 then as always. Miley, are you drunk? Hey, it feels like I'm drunk saying Wade Miley, but that is how bad the Rockies are. I think we get some run support, but I don't blame you one bit for asking if I'm drunk for recommending Wade Miley in 2023. Game by game, Nades, 11 games on this slate. Let's start first game of the night. Houston Astros, Baltimore Orioles, Framber Valdez, Grayson Rodriguez. About 85 degrees in Baltimore. Framber, we didn't touch on him too much. Like, I think he's a fine play for sure. People, if they don't go Scherzer, are going to pivot right to Framber. Very few will play Framber and Scherzer together. I don't think it's the slate to do it, but he's one of the best real-life pitchers on the slate, if not the best. So, not getting to Baltimore for me. As far as the Astros, I like Grayson Rodriguez upside at 6.9K. You chase upside. So I think I like him more than the Astros, but I don't think the Astros are the craziest play at 3% stack ownership or something like that. But there's other teams I like more. Would lean the Astros side, no doubt, over the Orioles. What do you got?
Yeah, no real interest. Two ground ball pitchers here. I mean, Grayson Rodriguez, the two best bats in the lineup are Kyle Tucker and Alvarez, in my opinion. And he's got a 72% ground ball rate over the last 30 days on the left side of the plate. So those guys going to have to get the ball in the air. They can definitely do it. Those are the two bats I'm scared of. Not really scared of the rest of these guys. I mean, 50% for Maldonado, 37% for Myers. Like I said, strikeout rate, Pena's up there. Altuve's even up there at the top. So this game's a pass for me in bats. Not going to pick on ground ball pitchers. Think both pitchers are very viable on this slate. I like Valdez. I like Grayson Rodriguez. So no bats in this one.
I like it. Keeping it rolling. Next game on the slate, a bunch to talk about. Atlanta Braves, Pittsburgh Pirates, Yanni Chirinos, Mitch Keller on the mound. It is about 80 degrees in Pitt, wind blowing out a little bit. Mitch Keller, he started the year absolutely on fire. He has definitely fell off a cliff a little bit. Brewers got to him, negative 2.5 for him last time out, 19-7, negative 7-1. Hasn't been the best last month for good old Mitch Keller, and it's not going to get any easier today with this Braves team. I loved him yesterday. I love him again. I expect him to be higher owned today, though, because yesterday, like, cheap pitching was tough to come by. If you didn't play Dane Dunning, we like Sandoval here, but a lot of people stayed in the upper tier. Freddie Strider, which made playing 5 Braves really tough. There's a plethora of low 8K and sub 8K pitchers on this slate. Like, you could even pair some of those guys and fade Scherzer. So the Braves will get ownership, rightfully so. But on an 11-game slate, if they're going to come in one of the chalkiest on the slate, Nades, you think they'll be over-owned, under-owned? I still think like Boston's going to get some ownership. There's other places for sure, but no doubt the Braves will be one of the higher-owned teams. What are you doing with them? I like them, but if you do play them, how do you play them?
Yeah, I love them 1 through 9. Give me the lefties to start with. Mitch Keller has gotten absolutely destroyed from the left side of the plate over the last 30 days. The Brewers crushed him. Everyone's crushed him. 70 plate appearances. He's given a 452 ISO to the left side of the plate. Fly ball rate north of 30%. Limits ground ball percentage is under 30%. Sign me up. And guess what? These Braves, they have very good lefties. It starts with Matt Olson. Ozzie Albies is going to hit from the left side of the plate. Love him. Rosario, Michael Harris, and then obviously you can always include Goat Cunha up there in the one hole. The dude gets it done on his with his feet, with his power. Absolutely incredible player. Austin Riley, TDA's in there today. I love him. Marcell Ozuna, Wade Miley and Marcell Ozuna in 2023 were a recommended title, but Ozuna's been great. Wade Miley it's a matchup play for him. Don't forget about Orlando Arcia down there either in the 8 hole. Always goes on their own, especially in Brave stacks. And title, actually, I'm seeing the Braves is like the 7th or 8th highest owned stack on the board still because of the price, right? People still want to play Scherzer. You got to pay for them. People are possibly even want to play 2 of those top end arms, Beebe, Kikuchi, even Framber, right? So you can't really just go in there, click 5 Braves, play Max Scherzer. It's pretty tough to do. You still have to make sacrifices, either punt a secondary pitcher or you have to really find a super cheap mini stack, like something like that, like some cheap Royals or something, cheap Guardian, something like that. So I do think they come in under-owned of what they should be against Mitch Keller. He's fallen off a cliff. So sign me up. Right back on the Braves train. One of the best offenses in baseball. Going to be under-owned here, I think. And I love them 1 through 9. Prefer the lefties, though. On the Pirates side, I think the Pirates are also interesting. I do think this game from both sides of the plate is interesting. I like Jack Sawinski quite a bit. Endy Rodriguez continues to crush at 2,500, should hit right in the heart of that.
He's not in the lineup. It just came out 5 minutes ago.
He's not? Okay. It just came out?
Yeah, it came out 5 minutes ago. I mean, the lineup, they're all free. Like, you're talking about free secondary stacks. Like, I think some people go to Pitt because of it. Jack Sawinski in the 4-hole, I think, gets some ownership. Rivas, 6 holes, 2-2. They got Palacios leading off at 2.3K. Like, they're so cheap. But no, they got min price, Jason Delay, 2K catcher in the 9-hole. So no Rodriguez there, who would have got a little ownership. But yeah, it came out 5 minutes ago. I don't know if you see it now.
Yeah, so the cheap mini stacks are going to be the Royals and Pirates. At least that's what ownership's showing currently for stack ownership. I do think the Pirates are in play. Don't love it, but really love the Braves side. I would just look more as a one-off. Maybe Jack Sawinski, Brian Reynolds, fine. Connor Joe, if he's in there. McCutcheon, those guys, you're kind of standard dudes. I do think this Peguero dude, if he's in there at second base shortstop,
7-hole.
Yeah, 2,600. I think that's a fine value play. He's got pretty good numbers in his sample size at home this year. So prefer the Braves. I think both sides are in play. Good game environment here. Two pretty bad pitchers overall.
Izzy goes Delay is trash. I assume so. They got enough catchers in Pitt. He rarely cracks the lineup. 9-hole min price. But hey, if you have 2K left in your lineup and you have a 5-3 stack and you have 2 other Pirates, you could do worse than min price 2K. You can ship with zeros. But yeah, I think like Sawinski, I think is going to get a good amount of ownership. I mean, 4.4, 4.5 team total for the Pirates. Decent hitting weather, very cheap on a slate. You want to spend up other places. So yeah, you're talking Royals. I think people will use them a little bit as cheap fillers. And I think Pittsburgh's one of those teams as well. And you talk the Braves, like if you think they're the 7th highest owned stack, like I love the Braves. I think they'll be a little more chalky than that. But regardless, I do like the Braves a lot. And there's plenty of pitching options to go on this slate. You fade Max Scherzer right away, you're different. And SP2, there's plenty of options to go. Secondary stacks. It's an 11-game slate. Fade Acuna, just like yesterday, he was one of the chalkier guys. You fade Acuna in your Braves stack, you get different. Plenty of ways to always get different. So yeah, I like the Braves. Pirates, they're fine as cheap minis. I don't like it as a 5-man, but like again, like the Sawinskis of the world, Palacios probably 2.3K. Some of these guys probably will come in over-owned just because of their price to help fill in the rest of the slate. Next game on the slate. First, though, we do appreciate everyone out there. 2:30 watching. Like button helps us out a ton. Takes 1 second out of your day. Hit it right now. We appreciate it a lot. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button, also helps us out a ton. Gills, loving it at SHIPIT Nation. Appreciate you in here, Gills. Marty in here as well. And I do remember you, Marty. You're smarty in the Discord. You said it yesterday. And you always said acting like I didn't know who he was. But keeping it rolling. Next game on the slate, Kansas City Royals, Boston Red Sox, Brady Singer, Cutter Crawford on the mound. 80 degrees, wind blowing out in Fenway. Got a total of 10. You mentioned some of these Royals getting ownership. Yeah, like really, really cheap guys, like a Michael Massey or something, maybe in the 3-hole, 2.6K at second base. But no, like 5-man stack Royals are definitely going to be low owned. Some of these guys in the bottom of the order, I don't know how much I want to play them. You can always play Salvi, MJ Melendez right there. Massey, definitely probably will be the most popular though. Fills out second base for cheap. I don't think these Royals are the craziest thing. Cutter Crawford, I do respect as the pitcher though. I like Crawford way more than I like the Royals though. As far as Boston, they're definitely going to be one of the chalkier teams on the slate too. I respect Singer more than I respect Mitch Keller, at least right now. So I like the Braves more than the Red Sox in a vacuum, but Red Sox, another one of these top stacks on the slate. We don't have the lineup out yet. At least I don't see it. And the bottom of the order, there should be salary relief for 5 through 9 or something like that, unlike the Braves. So what do you see in this game?
Yeah, I don't think these Royals are the worst play. Prefer the left side of the plate. Cutter is definitely worse against lefties in terms of power, in terms of fly balls. I mean, 35% fly ball rate between this year and last year to the left side of the plate. You get that ball up in Fenway, good hitting conditions, things can happen. So would prefer the lefties. That obviously brings in Michael Massey. Melendez, who's been terrible, I think is a fine. Matt Beatties continues to be free. He's a lefty. Kyle Isbell continues to be free. Drew Waters going to hit from the left side of the plate likely. He continues to be free. So prefer only the lefties for the most part for the Royals. I think they're more mini stacks. I'm not going to 5-man stack. I do think Cutter Crawford's a good pitching option on the slate, just the nature of the beast. On the Boston side, Brady Singer, he's been better, but he still does get hit decently hard from the left side of the plate. And the Boston bats, they're going to have a lot of lefties in here. Yoshida, Duran continues to be a complete stud. Devers, obviously, Tristan Casas, Verdugo. McGuire might be in there, a lefty. So give me the lefties in both sides of this game. I think the lefties are nice. A little short porch down in right field there as well. Don't have to deal with the monster. So lefties for me, prefer the Red Sox side. I do think they're a 5-man stack. And if you want to get a little different, just play Tristan Casas over our guy Justin Turner if Justin Turner's not in there. So even if he is, I like Casas over Justin Turner. So lefties for me in this one. I like both sides.
JT out, Bill B said, I don't exactly know what you're referring to that for JT. I didn't get an alert, anything. I will mention, though, Trevor Story he should be back in the Boston lineup today. Should be in the heart of the order. Definitely a boost for him. DraftKings did price him up right, though, 5.2K, which is good. We don't need a free square. Actually, I don't mind the slates where there's a free square at 2K because free square, the Tatis of the world, when he came back and he was 2K, 40% owned, 50% owned. It's always a fun game theory thing there. But, yeah, Trevor Story should be back, middle of the order, 5.2K, boost to Boston down the stretch. Keeping it rolling, next game on the slate, Chicago Cubs, New York Mets, Jameson Taillon, Carlos Carrasco, 80 degrees in New York. I didn't mention up at the top, though, but weather looks completely good today. Again, look at Kevin Ross stuff. That's what I did. Looks good. This was one of the weather concern games yesterday. They did end up finishing it out, though. 9.5 total. I like going right back to the Cubs, man. Cubs are one of my favorite stacks on the slate. Picking on Cookie recently, I have been, and I think he's over the hill, not close to his prime. -4, -8, -7. Still getting the call every 5 days. But, yeah, that's not very good right there for Carlos Carrasco. These Cubs stinker yesterday, but they've been hot the past 2 weeks. I like going right back to him. Cody Bellinger, my favorite, but Talkman, Ian Happ, Dansby has power, Candyman, 1 through 9, you can play these guys. What do you see in this game?
Yeah, Cubs are in my top 3 with the Braves and the Dodgers. I love the Cubs here tonight. 1 through 9 are in play. Don't love Morel. Don't love Madrigal. Love the rest of them. They've been smashing the ball over the last 30 days. Cookie Carrasco, I always stack against this dude. And it's not going to change here. Guaranteed nothing at bats for the Cubs. Sign me up. My favorite is Ian Happ, Cody Bellinger right there in the 3-4 hole. Don't forget Swanson, who continues to smash the ball at shortstop, fills a pretty bad position there. So I love that. I really like that 3, 4, 5, 6 stack with Candyman. Find one other bat to add in there, Talkman or Jan Gomes or something on DraftKings to make it a 5-man. So love the Cubs here. I think they go slightly overlooked. I mean, they're going to get ownership, but realistically, I mean, ownership's going to be kind of spread out on the slate between the Red Sox. I mean, the Yankees are going to get some ownership. Kansas City, Milwaukee, Atlanta, the Dodgers, kind of your standard teams. So like the Cubs here. It's a bet against Carrasco being Carrasco. Low strikeout rate, high barrel rate. Just not a great pitcher overall. So love the Cubs. On the Mets side, I do think the Mets are interesting again. DJ Stewart has pretty good numbers in his limited sample. A little lefty in there, cheap bat, 2,400. Vientos, I'll continue to bring up Vientos. Omar Narvaez, the Brewer great in there, 2,300. I mean, these Mets, you want to talk about cheap guys again, Vogelbach, Stewart, Vientos, Narvaez, Ortega, all under 2,500, all of them hitting 5 through 9. So that's a cheap stack there. Brandon Nemo, I think, is fine. Pete Alonso's always fine. So I don't hate the Mets. Definitely prefer the Cubs side, but I think this is another one where both offenses are firmly in play for me.
Hey, you got the Mets right yesterday, so I don't love the Mets as much. I definitely like the Cubs. So one of my favorite stacks on this slate, and there's a lot. Like, we're going to go through a lot of these. There's quality arms on the slate, even if we didn't like them to play them at pitcher today. There's a lot of real respectable real-life pitchers on the slate. We're making a case of 5-man against them is tough. So, yeah, Carrasco's one of the worst on this slate. Sign me up for these Cubs. Keeping it rolling, Toronto Blue Jays, Cleveland Guardians, UC Kikuchi, Tanner Bibby on the mound, about 80 degrees in Cleveland. We mentioned both of these pitchers. Kikuchi's going to get some ownership. If you want to go to these Guardians, the bottom half of the order is free. Pretty much everything outside of 1 through 3. Juan, Jimenez, Jose Ramirez is free, but I don't like it on this slate. As far as the Blue Jays against Bibby, there's plenty of other spots I like more too. Probably even like the Mets more than both these teams, and I don't even like them as much. So big X for me. What do you got in Cleveland?
Yeah, no bats in here. I'm not going to play Cleveland on an 11-game slate against a pitcher who I think can get the job done. I mean, looking at last 30-day numbers, ground ball pitcher, limits fly balls. I mean, fly balls sitting at just 17%. Cleveland doesn't already hit home runs for the most part outside. I mean, a couple guys can get the ball up there and hit bombs. So easy cross-off spot for me, Cleveland. I would much rather play the cheap Royals, play some of those cheap Mets that I talked about, cheap Pirates. I just don't think there's any need to go to the Guardians here on this one. Toronto. Danny Jansen, I think, is a fine play there at the catcher position. He's a power guy, low strikeout guy. Brandon Belt continues to be reasonably priced against BB. BB has been worse against the left side of the plate. I mean, allowing 35% fly balls. So don't think that's the craziest thing. But, yeah, no real interest in bats in this one. I just think there's far better spots. Don't mind either pitcher in this one. So bats are a stay away.
I like it. Lockstep right there. Keeping it rolling. Next game on the slate, New York Yankees, Chicago White Sox, Clark Schmidt, Touki Toussaint on the mound. Always a fun name to say. Touki Toussaint. 80 degrees in Chicago. Yankees have one of the higher implied team totals on the slate, sitting about 5. Touki, I had some interest in pitching. I mean, he's completely free. Decent K prop, has a big arm, but I mean, his control is awful. When things go bad, it goes bad in a hurry from him. Aaron Judge, we don't have this lineup out yet, but Judge, there's Stanton, your boy Jake Bowers, Volpe probably should be down there. This lineup's cheap outside of the Judge and the Stantons of the world. 5 team total. Touki gets wild. The Yankees could be marching around the bases early. This is definitely, like, if you play 20 teams, I think Tuki's definitely a guy where you can play him in 1, 2, 3 teams or whatever. Can definitely stack against him in some. Someone said Touki sucks. Yeah. Touki, that's why he's 5.7K. Touki is not good, but at least he does have a big arm for some upside. But, yeah, no, these Yankees firmly in play. One of the better stacks on the slate, in my opinion. Like I said, I think you can play Touki. Don't play Yankees in that lineup. Then you can play Yankees in non-Touki lineups. I still like the Braves more for sure. But from the teams we've talked about, I like the Cubs more too. So for the teams we talked about, Yankees number 3 right now. What do you got?
Yeah, I like the Yankees only for mini stacks. I'm not going to 5-man them. They're going to get ownership here against Touki. Everyone says the same thing. Touki sucks, Touki sucks, Touki sucks. But against righties, he's still got a 63% ground ball rate. So ground ball pitcher, he's 57. He's basically free. I mean, you can do whatever you want when you plug him in there, especially if you play one of those mid-tier 8K arms. You can really do whatever you want. Secondary stack, 5-man stack. So that's the reason to play him. But, yeah, there is a ton of walks. He gives up a ton of walks. You start walking guys. You start having to come back with meatballs over the plate. Major league hitters, any of these guys can hit bombs. Aaron Judge, obviously, you can always play Aaron Judge. Hits righties very well. So like him, Jake Bowers, I don't mind him, Stanton. But really just those 3 bats are my interest. Not going to go to the rest of these because I do think there's strikeout upside here. I mean, this Yankees team does strike out a lot. Jake Bauers, 32%. Stanton, 33%. Billy McKinney, if he's in there, 36%. I mean, the catcher, Ben R, in there, 38%, 32% for Volpe. So, yeah, Touki's not a very good arm, but he's free, has some strikeout upside in this lineup, and is primarily a ground ball pitcher. So that's the reason for Touki. That's the reason I'm under on the Yankees. Touki also ranks well in our rankings over here, so that's more of a case to fade the Yankees for me, especially with they're going to get ownership. I'm seeing them projected as a top 3 owned stack of the board because if you look at them, they're cheap. You can stack them up. They're super cheap. I mean, you got 3 guys in this lineup again over 3,500 in Aaron Judge, Torres, and Stanton. The rest of them are all basically 3K or under. So out on the Yankees for the most part. White Sox side, I have interest in Clark Schmidt. No interest in any of these White Sox. I think they quit on the season. I'll continue to say that. Not going to stack them anytime soon.
Yep. Eric talking about Harper. It is a doubleheader, but the Phillies single game going on right now. They did not put that game on the main slate for Big Bryce. But if you have Bohm, Kyle Schwarber in your lineups, looking good. Both homered I saw when we've been on the show. Keep it rolling. 5 games left on the slate. Again, we appreciate that like button. If you want to sign up, you want to head over to SHIPITNation.com, get all of our premium content, see who Hoops on for pitchers, stacks, see who G Rising's on for FanDuel, Nate's Core on DK, Hamwich is on FanDuel, My Cash Cores, FanDuel, and DraftKings to go along. Keep talking about these rankings, stack rankings, pitcher rankings, hitter rankings, absolutely been money. as well as projections and ownership. Now, today is the first day for that. So everything you need to be successful, one low price, $59 a month, $599 a year. We also have PGA, MMA, best ball tomorrow. I saw you ask Richie Smalls, 2 p.m. Eastern, Big Marley, myself, special guest going live, talking some best ball, doing a live draft on Drafters. NFL will be here before we know it. Got you covered, all of that. Be on the lookout for Friday. Tambo and Hoop will be announcing little NFL schedule, what we have planned for the season. Next thing you know, you'll blink, NBA will be here before we know it. We got you covered there as well. So no better time to sign up. $59 a month, $599 a year. Check us out at chipination.com. Get in the Discord if you do join as well. 5 games left. Colorado Rockies, Milwaukee Brewers, Kyle Freeland, Wade Miley. The battle of the Southpaws. We got 8.5 total. Mainly that's because of the Brewers. 5.3 team total, one of the highest ones on the slate. The Rockies are the second lowest team total on the slate. I like Miley. I'm not playing none of these Rockies. No chance. As far as Kyle Freeland against these Brewers, man, so the Brewers just don't hit lefties very well. Like William Contreras, Willie Adames, definitely the top 2 bats. We don't have the lineup out yet. Canna, Tyrone Taylor. Taylor got the job done yesterday in the 9-hole. Those would be my 4 favorites. I think they could get a little ownership, though. Not completely sure. I mean, they're cheap, high team total. Just like you said with the Yankees, I think Yankees get some. See what the Brewers did yesterday and go to them. I like the Yankees more. I like the Braves more. I like the Cubs more. Freeland just always seems to burn me. Every time I stack against him, he really shoves it to me. I mean, I'm not playing them in DFS, but there's other spots I like more than the Brewers. My favorite bats, always Tyrone Taylor, Adames, William Contreras, Canna. But, yeah, I like other spots more on the slate. What about you?
Yeah, I don't hate the Brewers. It's just a bet on Freeland outside of Coors Field. 28.5 innings pitched. He's given up 6 bombs, 11 walks, and only 6 strikeouts. So, yeah, the Brewers haven't been good against lefties, but Freeland is not a good pitcher. I never stack against Freeland in Coors Field. On the road, I am going to stack against Freeland. I don't think the Brewers are our craziest play. I like them more as a mini stack on the back of William Contreras. Tyrone Taylor, going to hit a bomb today. Love him against a lefty. He's continues to be free, $2,900, nice price point for him. Sal Frelick continues to be a complete stud. Don't mind him lefty because I don't expect Freeland to be in there very long. I mean, like I said, it's just 6 home runs in 28.5 innings, 11 walks. You start getting behind. William Contreras smashes lefties, so he's definitely my favorite bat. But Tyrone Taylor in there. Christian Yelich has been hitting lefties pretty decent. Joey Weimer would be my preferred guys. I just don't love enough bats to 5-man stack the Brewers, but I do like them more as a mini stack. Just a bet on Freeland not being as good on the road, and that's what the numbers have shown this year. So, like the Brewers, mini stacks, Rockies for me are an easy stay away spot. Not playing the Rockies, I like Wade Miley quite a bit.
I like it. We'll keep it rolling. 4 games left on the slates. Next game, San Francisco Giants, Los Angeles Angels. We got Alex Wood coming in as a potential long reliever. It's more of a bullpen game for San Fran, though. Lucas Giolito for the Angels. I like Giolito. No thank you for the Giants. As far as some of these Angels, I mean, Alex Wood is definitely no good anymore. The bullpen, I don't love picking on bullpen games. But like Ohtani, no one's going to play Ohtani. If anyone spends up, it's going to be Acuna. So I don't mind going like a Ohtani. It's just so expensive. Drury's expensive. Crone, Grichuk right there. Renfroe, 3.8K. I don't mind probably a mini stack of some of these Angels, but they are expensive. And like when we're talking Cubs prices, talking Braves prices, I like those teams a little more. But Angels, I think they're really low owned. I think you could do crazier on this slate. So more minis for me, though. No Giants. What do you see in this one?
Yeah, no bats in this one for me. Don't like targeting bullpen games, even if Alex Wood is the long guy. Still don't like it for the Angels side. I don't like Giolito's price point at the top. And I just think these Giants have too much pinch hit risk once the lefty comes in. But I don't think they're the craziest. I mean, they do have power. A.J. Pollock, Wilmer Flores, J.D. Davis hit a bomb last night. Patrick Bailey at the catcher position, Conforto. Austin Slater, if he's in there. So don't think it's the craziest take. Again, Giolito, 11% barrel rate on the season. When he's bad, he's real bad. So Very, very low owned stack of the Giants. They do still have a 4.5 implied run total against Giolito. So not the craziest thing in the world. Guaranteed ninth inning at bats. But yeah, definitely like other spots much more.
You almost got me a little excited talking Patrick Beverly almost. Patrick Bailey, Patrick Beverly, talking a little NBA. Be saying that name sooner rather than later. 3 games left. Los Angeles Dodgers, Arizona Diamondbacks, Julio Urias, Brandon Pfaadt on the mound. 9.5 total. Dodgers 5.3 team total. I don't think Pfaadt's bad by any means, though. But this Dodgers, one of the best lineups out there. Pfaadt struggled a bit early, been better as of late. They're expensive. Like the bottom of the order is cheap. 1 through 4, we don't have the projected lineup out or the lineup out yet. But 1 through 5, Mookie, Freddie, Will Smith, Max Muncy, JD, all pretty expensive. But the bottom half of the order should be pretty cheap. If I played the Dodgers, I would definitely be mixing in the bottom half, the Outmans, the Haywards, Peraltas, the lefties. Excuse me. But again, I like other teams we talked about more prior. So it's not an X by any means, but they fall down the list for me. What about you?
Yeah, I like the Dodgers less than the Braves for sure. But man, these righties, you can't sleep on these righties. Fought tons of fly balls to the right side of the plate, doesn't strike any righties out. And the Dodgers, I mean, Mookie Betts, Will Smith, JD Martinez, 3 staple bats there, right side righties. Ahmed Rosario, if he's in there, right side of the plate. So focus on the righties, and then you can add in the lefties, Freddie Freeman, Muncy, Peralta, Hayward, kind of pick your poison there. So do like the Dodgers quite a bit. I think they're like my third or fourth favorite stack. I like them more as a mini stack, I think. But yeah, Pfaadt just can't get any righties out. Low strikeouts, tons of fly balls. Dodgers have very good right-handed hitters in there in Mookie, Will Smith, JD Martinez, Kiki Hernandez if he's in there, Ahmed Rosario, Miguel Rojas I don't think is the craziest punt either if he's in there over Rosario. So don't mind the Dodgers one bit. D-back side for me, I don't have a ton of interest. Tommy Pham, Christian Walker I think are fine, Lourdes Gurriel. But yeah, not a ton of interest on the D-back side, mainly the Dodgers side for me. They are one of my favorite stacks of the night.
So a little different there. You can never go wrong with the Dodgers at all, though. We got 2 games left, 72 likes, 250 watching. We get 100 likes. We'll give away the top 3 hitters in our hitter rankings over here at SHIPITNation.com. So a little extra motivation to click that like button. Takes 1 second out of your day. Helps us out a ton. Bringing you free shows on this channel every single day of the week. Keeping it rolling. Texas Rangers, Oakland Athletics, Max Scherzer, JP Sears. 65 degrees in Oakland, which makes me hit Pitchers Park, which makes Scherzer a great play, in addition to a lot of other things. This Oakland lineup being awful makes JP Sears a good play, a solid play as well. Like Pitchers Parks, like cold weather. This Rangers lineup, top half definitely scary, bottom half falls off a bit. Talking bats, someone asked, like, can you make a case for Oakland 1 through 8 or something like that? Yeah, the case is game theory. One pitcher is head and shoulders above the rest when it comes to ownership. Just saw what happened with Spencer Strider yesterday. It's baseball. Anything can happen. That's the only case I'll make for the A's, though. As far as the Rangers, I think Sears gets a little bit of ownership. Rangers, a great offense, 4.7 team total, so not bad that way. Guaranteed 9th inning at bat. Like, trying to make a case for these Rangers. I'm going to put them above the Dodgers. I think they're going to be low owned. I think you get a little leverage off of JP Sears. Stick mainly the top half of the order, but you're going to need some of these guys in the bottom. If you're playing a Scherzer, you're spending up other places. Texas is expensive in the top half, which will keep their ownership even further lower. But I think JP Sears is a solid real life pitcher. Again, I think he gets ownership, so you get a little game theory that way. A very low owned Texas team. Late night hammer. I like the Cubs more. I like the Braves more. Even like the Yankees more. But don't think Texas is the craziest thing. What do you got?
Yeah, I don't mind Texas here. Sears is going to get ownership for sure. But looking at numbers, current and last season, I mean, left side of the plate, 31% fly balls. Right side of the plate, 36% fly balls. Low ground balls obviously come with that. Decent ISO numbers and just a 20% strikeout rate. Last 30 days is even more extreme, especially the left side of the plate. A little lefty. Corey Seager, one of the best lefty hitters, going to be extremely low owned. Obviously, he's expensive, but that's how you get different in GPPs. I mean, you stack the Braves. If you play cheap pitchers, you can do Corey Seager one off at shortstop and not play not play our guy there, Arcia, in that spot, and play Corey Seager unowned. So like him. But yeah, I mean, I think these Texas bats are firmly in play. JP Sears, it's just more of a salary price point thing. Nature of the pitching slate, I think for that. But Mitch Garver in there, historic lefty smasher like him. Adolis Garcia, Corey Seager would be my preferred three. Just more of a mini stack for me. The Rangers, I just like other spots better, especially the Braves. Some of these other teams, the Cubs, to 5-man, and I don't play a ton of teams, so that's kind of my interest there. Athletics for me, easy stay away spot. I saw someone in chat saying they're gonna 1 through 8 stack the Athletics. First off, if you can play 8 bats from the same team, let me know. I need your DK reps name and number for that. But yeah, not playing the Athletics against Max Scherzer on an 11-game slate. Much rather go other spots. I don't care that the whole double leverage with Scherzer being the chalkiest pitcher. He's chalk for a reason. It's the Freddie Peralta last night, in my opinion here. So I do like Max. No Athletics for me, not even one off.
Like it. Last game on the slate. Again, 100 likes. We will get you the top 3 hitters in our hitter rankings over here at ChipItNation.com. San Diego Padres, Seattle Mariners, Nick Martinez, Logan Gilbert on the mound. I respect Logan Gilbert enough. Pitchers Park in Seattle. I'm not getting these Padres. The Mariners are more interesting because of Nick Martinez, who absolutely sucks, but he's only going to pitch probably 2 innings, 3 innings, maybe even not even past 1 inning. Then you get a bullpen game. San Diego's bullpen's decent. This Mariners lineup, like, I'm not trying to really pick on play a team against a bullpen game on an 11-game slate when there's Carlos Carrasco and there's some other bad pitchers on the slate we can target. So I'm going to say X. I don't think the Mariners are the craziest thing at 1% ownership, but yeah, not a spot I like. What about you?
Yeah, I actually don't mind these lefties for the Padres. Gilbert gets smashed from the left side of the plate. You get Juan Soto unowned. 381 ISO against right-handed pitching on the road this season. Gilbert, over the last 30 days, has given up 226 ISO left side of the plate, fly ball rate of 34%, ground ball rate very low as well. And that's 57 plate appearances, so a pretty decent sample over the last 30 days. Trent Grisham, lefty, G-Man Choi, Cronenworth, Juan Soto, my interest for the Padres. More a mini stack, pick 2 or 3 of those lefties, but don't sleep on those guys. No Mariners for me, not targeting a bullpen game in a pitcher's park for sure on an 11-game slate.
I like it. That is all 11 games on this slate. Again, weather does not look to be too much of a concern. DK rep's name is Elliot. Jake says, we're going to get you, if you get 100 likes, we'll give away the top 3 hitters, but we're going to go low-ish owned pitcher, dong of the day. Check the likes. We'll get on out of here if we don't hit it. Otherwise, we will give them away. Get on out of here. Check out all the content that's rolling up on ShipItNation.com. Projections. Check out the ownership, stack rankings, hitter rankings, pitcher rankings, as well as core reports, slate plan, all of that good stuff. Nades, low-ish owned pitcher. I'm going Wade Miley. He's going to get some ownership, but pretty much if you say anyone not named Max Scherzer today, I think it's a green light. I think a lot of pitchers eat in to each other. And again, man, it's scary. Keep doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on Wade Miley, but more of a bet against these Rockies. I think he gets some run support. What do you got?
Yeah, this is tough. I'm going to go right there in that same range, same price bracket. I'm going to go $100 cheaper, and I'm going to go the big arm against a scary offense in Houston. I think the strikeouts can be there. I'm going Grayson Rodriguez at 6,900. I like him, like the strikeout matchup, especially on the back half of that lineup. I think he can get the job done. It's a nice price point. He's coming off 3 great starts. I think it continues here. So give me Grayson Rodriguez.
I love it. Dong of the daytime. Can't let Nate stay. You know what? I'll throw it to Nate. If you somehow do, I don't think you're going to. If you somehow do, I'll figure out something. Who do you got? Dong of the day, Nate.
Yeah, I'm going to my favorite stack of the night. I'm going to the left side of the plate. I'm going up at first base. It's my guy, Matty Ice, Matt Olson, going deep today. And then a little bonus. I talked about Marcell Ozuna. I'm doubling down. I'm going right back to the train on Marcell Ozuna. A little 4-6 stack for the Braves. Both of them are going deep tonight. Braves flop leg. Gonna smash.
Thankfully, you did not take mine. I'm going to go to the Cubbies, one of my favorite stacks, right in the heart of the order, way too cheap. Ian Happ, 3.4K. Think he takes Carrasco deep. Love the Braves. Love the Cubs. 2 favorite stacks of the night. Looking at the likes, we got 90 likes. Hey, we appreciate everyone out there watching. We appreciate all 90 people that did hit that like button. But if you do want to see the hitter rankings, got to be a member at SHIPITNation.com. Again, get in the Discord. If you got any questions, tag us in the Discord. We will get back to you. All the content will be rolling up. PGA starts. We still got 2 nights. PGA, MMA this week. NFL on Friday. We'll be announcing our plan, our schedule, rolling forward for the NFL season. It's very good. Bunch of content, everything you need. And again, check out projections, ownership on the site over here at SHIPITNation.com. Nate's awesome stuff as always. 11 games. Got it done. Just about an hour. Appreciate all of you guys hanging out with us, like I always say, but we really do mean it. You guys make the show a lot of fun in the comment section. Hit that like, hit that subscribe on the way out. We'll be back tomorrow, as always, for Nades on Titletown. Good luck, everybody.